So I was watching Turb last night. Okay, this is Turb. And he had a video called The Leftist Carrot Epidemic. And I was like, uh-oh, what is this? I start watching it, and genuinely so perplexing, so confusing, so borderline shocking that I was like, what is happening? Am I missing something? So just for transparency's sake, the video is about Taylor Lorenz. Taylor Lorenz is a tech journalist. Taylor Lorenz has been in my comment section. I did make a video about Taylor Lorenz where I deeply disagreed with her about a video she made. She did comment. We tried to make peace. I was like, okay, I'll give Taylor another chance. Then I see this and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. So respectfully, if Taylor sees this, I wish her the best. I'm deeply confused about this decision to advocate this way. Maybe we could have a conversation about her choice of advocation for people who are disabled when it comes to wearing masks. And we should have conversations about what is the right thing to do here. So we're not going to watch Turb's video directly, though I do think his commentary was worthwhile and I think you should watch it. And one thing he said in his video that I'll say in mine is, we are not here to drag a woman and we're not here to drag other leftists. We're here to maybe point out how there could have been a better way to handle this, or we could have conversations about how to do this better, because I just really think this was the wrong way to do it. And we might have to draw in the sand, maybe whether or not this person and us we're doing the same thing. Also, please don't go to Taylor Lorenz's content or anyone's content and harass them. I don't need to tell you. You're old enough to know. You're grown. You know better. Don't bother people. I don't want to see you in the comment section of Taylor Lorenz, being silly. I want you to voice your passion here. Okay. So I'm glad Turp sent that message out to his audience. I'll do the same here. So, Maysoon is a disability activist. Okay. She's a comedian, Palestinian, and this is her Instagram post, the one that kind of was going around her in this interview. You could see it here. And this is the video that kind of started it all. But let me make sure that I have it here set up properly. Okay, so I don't lose my tracking and where I am, girls. Let me just do this really fast because I feel like I prepped this yesterday and I don't want anything to mess up. So let's go here. Let's watch this clip together.
Is disabled. The largest mass disabling event in recorded history is happening right now. The number of children who are amputees, who have been blinded, who have gone deaf, who have spinal cord injuries, and who have been born with cerebral palsy, which is what I have. When you and I spoke about my birth, we talked about the fact that my disability is not genetic. It is caused by lack of oxygen at birth. It is caused by trauma at birth. The men and women in Gaza, they inspire me because I have friends that have done like 45 cycles of IVF and they don't get pregnant. In Gaza, mashallah, ismallah, I actually don't know where they're doing the lovey, but they're getting pregnant and they're having babies left and right. And it's pissing off the supremacists because they're like, they're gremlins, right? We kill one, we get 10. Like, how is this happening? These children are being born to malnourished mothers, born in unsanitary conditions, no NICUs. Suddenly it's traumatic because you don't have the little oxygen pump. So a massive amount of babies are being born with cerebral palsy right now. And if we want Samud, which is your podcast name, then we have to understand that as a society, we can heal ourselves.
Okay, so that was the video. Like, okay, cool. Cute video, right? What could possibly go wrong? Right? What could go wrong? And I don't know anything about Maysoon. I don't know anything about her politic. I don't know anything about her values. I don't know anything about her beliefs. So I'll just put that out there because I don't know. Right? Okay. Taylor, this is Taylor's comment. You can see it on the post. I made sure to go to the post. I know Reddit had the screenshots, but just in case people were like, where's the source? Okay, here's the source. Okay. Taylor Lorenz said, so where are our masks to stop the spread of airborne disease, fam? Okay. So Taylor Lorenz is a very outspoken masker, which we love to see. Okay, here's an example of Taylor Lorenz interviewing Dan Clancy, the CEO of Twitch.
I would say, with Twitch streamers, really specifically, I think that reaches a level that doesn't even happen on platforms like YouTube and others. Obviously, we saw one Twitch streamer yesterday.
So sometimes people think Taylor does too much. Taylor's going over and beyond. But as you know from disability advocates, they are begging people to remember that COVID is not over. Lockdown is over, but COVID isn't. That it would be really great if you could mask. I've also been very transparent as a person who is disabled after getting COVID. During lockdown, I got COVID. I became disabled. It was a life-changing experience. I have feelings about it. I would love to keep people safe. And just transparently, I don't always wear a mask when I go out. So there's also this very human perspective in which I didn't even realize we were still masking until people in my chat were like, we're not masking. And I was like, oh my God, are we masking? So I did ask my partner to go and get us some masks. These were the ones that were available in our area. These are just the regular like medical masks. They're not even the good kind. They're the whatever kind. You know what I mean? But that's the best we could do, so we grab them. The question is, and what I want to talk about today, of course, is the ethics of masking, the responsibility we have to mask. When do we mask? Where do we mask? And what kind of masks? And what is our obligation when engaging in social media of telling people or suggesting people to mask? So I'm open to all schools of thought. I want to hear your opinions. I definitely think this is a societal, we should come together and decide like, what is the goal here? What is the cultural shift we want to make here? So Taylor goes, so where are our masks to stop the spread of airborne disease, fam? I'm a little confused in the context of asking this question personally, because it looks like she's on a podcast with one other person. How do you know both of them weren't tested and both of them weren't in the clear for COVID, right? So then the question is it just COVID we're afraid of, or is there something else? And then the other question is, why does she have to mask if she's on a podcast with one other person? Like, am I confused about something? Okay. So then Maysoon responds. She said, we're talking about children who have lost limbs. Where the hell do you think we're going to find masks in Gaza? Like, I adore you, but this is a stupid comment. So then Maysoon offers her a connection, says, hey, like, I know your stuff. We're good, bro. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? Because, you know, what do you want us to do here? Okay, so then Maysoon says, oh, hold on, let me do this. Let me make sure. It says, it looks like Maysoon, I just want to make sure I'm reading this right. It looks like she's responding. Oh, do I not see Taylor's responses? Man, I might have to switch up. Maybe I do have to go to the Reddit post because I see Taylor's. Why don't I see what she's responding to if she is responding to something? Hold on, maybe I do have to go to TikTok. Okay, let me go to Reddit. Hold on. Because I'm not seeing it on the Instagram post for whatever reason. Okay, let me go back to, this is maybe why people were all using the Reddit. So Taylor says, where are our masks to stop the spread of airborne disease? Maysoon says we're talking about, you know, people in Palestine. Taylor goes, those people are not filming their content in Gaza. They're not in a war zone. People in a war zone don't have access to PPE, which is why it is incumbent on privileged podcasters to stop the spread of airborne diseases. The current variant hitting Gaza first spread in the US. Mask up and stop infecting and harming others by spreading airborne diseases. So Taylor says that to Maysoon, right? Okay. And then, hold on, let me make sure. Maysoon says the amount of go fuck yourself I can send you from the middle of Palestine right now, because this is where I am. You're talking to a Palestinian in Palestine. Okay. She says, about masks, and what I'm talking about, amputation, spinal cord injury, blindness, and TBI, go somewhere else for attention, darling, not here. Taylor goes, oh, so you're privileged and going around on podcasts and gallivanting around talking about disability while actively infecting and harming other disabled people in Palestine who do not have access to medical treatment. That's disgusting and also shows exactly why no one should listen to you talk about disability. I am literally shocked. I am so floored with this interaction. I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. Did somebody hack Taylor Lorenz's Instagram? I can't believe she's writing this to anybody, by the way, but especially like, I can't believe this is happening. Taylor says the thousands of Palestinians dying and suffering from deadly diseases because of a lack of access to medical treatment aren't actually disabled to you. Neither are the countless Palestinians whose immune systems and organs have been ravaged by this genocide. From a genocide, you don't consider them disabled, and so they're disposable to you. You'll likely infect and kill them. Let me see. Disposable. Okay. You'll happily infect and kill them if it means getting a podcast appearance. I am so shocked. She goes on to say disabled Palestinians in Gaza who are currently suffering and living through the active pandemic are begging for masks and putting scraps of fabric across their mouths to try to stay safe and not die. Israel continues to block PPE. Meanwhile, you're out here talking about how it's fine to slaughter thousands by spreading airborne diseases because Palestinians without visible disability aren't really disabled. All while Israel withholds vaccines and treatments from the sickest Palestinians. Taylor goes on to say, you don't give a shit about disability justice. You have no solidarity with disabled people in Palestine or anywhere. This is just a PR opportunity for you. It seems like it's disgusting. I'm so shocked. Like, I really tried to be so good faith to Taylor Lorenz, but I could not believe my ears when I was watching Turb yesterday talk about this. I was just like, this has got to be a joke. Yeah, chat says my jaw's on the floor. I am so shocked. I don't even know what to do with this information, except that, we obviously have to talk about it. But I can't believe, like, there were so many other ways to have the conversation. There were so many ways to communicate this point. And what point are you even making? Why is she talking so bad about this woman? What did this woman do? I don't know anything about this woman, but what did she do for Taylor to be so nothing? Just existed as a disabled woman in Palestine? Like, I mean, this woman is literally doing the most. This woman is literally advocating. This woman is literally out here. And Taylor is just dragging her. Like, I can't even imagine what is going through Taylor's mind right now. So if you guys understand this, now somebody in Turb's audience said to Turb, hey, Turb, I think like you're speaking without knowledge, like as a disability advocate myself or as a disabled person, I'm sick of people not taking masking seriously. And he said, hey, maybe you're right. Call me out, criticize me. I say the same to you. Hey, look, like, if you feel like I'm off the mark here, let's talk about it. But I cannot tell you, I cannot see the justification of this type of communication to advocate on behalf of vulnerable people to a vulnerable person. I don't understand this decision by Taylor. I just don't get it, right? Chet said, may soon travel to Palestine from America, and I think both of them speak past one another and cause each other harm. Sure, okay, I hear you, because I hear that, and maybe that's what it was at, right? Like she traveled from the U.S. where she could be taking, you know what I mean? She could be taking COVID maybe or other things, and then she's there. But how do we know she wasn't tested? Shouldn't we assume she was tested for COVID? Do you know what I mean? Shouldn't we assume the best of people? Are you telling me that we have to wear masks for the rest of our lives? Like, this cannot be, we've gone to the moon. We can't figure out how not to wear masks? Do you know what I'm saying? Are you saying that we can't all get tested for COVID and be safe to socialize? Or we can get tested for other things? So that's what I'm saying from Taylor's perspective. How does Taylor know that Maysoon didn't get tested, that she isn't negative, that she isn't safe? How do you know this? I'm so confused, right? Okay. And then I see a lot of chat going, right? So you let me know if there's like a really specific thing you want me to pay attention to. And also I'm going to keep reading because there's a little bit more and I want to get through it. Okay. And then we'll have the convo. So let me go back to the post. Taylor said, oh, and of course you're visiting from New Jersey, posting about how you'll miss your local Pilates classes. I guess being disabled to you means you can't do Pilates. Not, suffering from organ damage and wrecked immune systems after having your body ravaged by unmitigated diseases thanks to genocide. Damn. Maysoon says, you're a supremacist. Your supremacist talking points don't deserve a response, but I will. I was visiting New Jersey. I live in Palestine. My local coaches. I was going to visit I live in Palestine. Oh, okay. So she was in America visiting, but Maysoon says she lives in Palestine. Okay. I was going to miss my visiting coach because she helped me recover from being at the ICU at Columbia, a Presbyterian with an inverse PISFR COVID vaccine reaction that was documented. So why don't you go talk to your little COVID? Talk your little COVID or talking points to someone who doesn't spend day and night talking to people who are recovering from vaccine injuries, long COVID and current COVID. Let's also not pretend that COVID didn't affect Palestine. And then the way we did in America from COVID, they died from bombs being dropped on them. So why don't you drop some PPE masks? Okay, afford it. Okay. Okay. Oh, hold on. Why don't you drop some PPE masks and see if we can use the air are full of toxins and not just airborne contingents. But I really like the fact that you stalked my page to talk about my Pilates class and to talk about what you guess being disabled means a woman who has cerebral palsy, CIPD, and neurodivergent who is in the middle of a war zone during the largest mass disabling events of our lifetime, percentage-wise. So have you had enough attention, or do you need more? Are you really coming to tell a Palestinian force a hold on, I know how to say it in my head, but I can't say it out loud. Diaspora, who is finally home, that she's visiting? Fuck you, Taylor. Fuck you, and fuck every time I supported you. Exploited supremacist. Damn, bro. She's going in. She said, you're being very careful. You Google who you're talking to. Then you come back and tell me that I don't give a shit about disability justice and that this is a PR. Why don't you fucking come here and sit 5 minutes in a room with a little girl that is a quadriplegic amputee having her first period, tried to figure out how to deal with it, and then tell about PR while you're screaming for attention and clicks. Do you know who doesn't give a shit about Palestine? You or anyone else who wouldn't write this on my page. I was going to make a clip calling you out, but you're, let me see. Okay, hold on. This is repeated. Let me see if I can go back to the Instagram. Supremacist talking points, COVID, you're a supremacist. Okay, let me go back to the original now. You should see it on your screen. Let me see. Okay, calling you out, but you're not worth it. Too cheap. Cheap, that's the only word I would use, cheap. Okay, so then she did make this post. So let's watch it.
Lorenz accused me of slaughtering disabled Palestinian children. My friends, please be careful about Palestinian allies who are grifting on our graves, on our disability. This woman came on to the only clip I've had defy the shadow ban, and it was about disability and how we have the highest percentage of disabled children in the world in Gaza now. And she came on my page to tell me that I was performative, to tell me that I was mass slaughtering disabled kids in Gaza because I don't wear a mask. And the one that I love the most, she told me that I'm visiting Palestine. Visiting. Listen to those words. She is discrediting Palestinians. She is erasing our existence. This woman is not an ally. She's a supremacist pretending to be an ally because it pays really damn well. Hey, Taylor Lorenz, I dare you. Come to Palestine and sit with me with a quadruple amputee child about to have her first period. Let's do that and then call me performative. My God in heaven, if I ever see you in America, the amount I will scream in your face. This was disgusting. And I know exactly who you are, and you're not getting away with it.
I mean, what am I supposed to do here? So let's talk about it. Let me go through your chat as well. I just don't know why Taylor would say this. Like, I cannot fathom why Taylor would spend her time. And why did she come at her so hostile like that? Like, she didn't even say, like, hey, girl. And then instead, she used, and people were accusing her of using AVE to say fam at the end here. Like, so where are our masks to stop the spread of airborne disease, fam? That's how I heard it. Like, very, like, And then the chat even went back and forth. And I think Turb brought it up. And let's see. Also add fam is AAV. Please stop. It's more condescending when it is used to criticize Palestinian or any radicalized person. It's like, so she's almost using like a passive aggressive, you know what I mean? Like a passive aggressive communication style, to be like, oh, hey fam. And it's like, to be insulting, I just don't know why Taylor would do this. And when I say I don't know why Taylor would do this, I mean, I don't understand the ethical position she's trying to take. Look, I understand masking is important. I understand it's very passion issue for a lot of people. It's life and death for a lot of people. For Taylor, she feels very strongly about it, but I just don't understand it. So what do you guys think? Chat said it is weird that Taylor has always struck me as somebody, I don't know how to put it, as a certain type of problematic person. Discord said, this is why I laugh when Taylor says social media doesn't affect mental health, because what is this, babes? Discord said, I can see why FD stopped associating with white leftists online. Oh, Discord said Taylor sounds like she has been influenced too much by DGG or Destiny. Sounds exactly like how that community talks. I don't know. I don't know what she was thinking. Like, I really don't. Discord, or not Discord, YouTube chat says COVID conscious people describe this dismantling of public health as a mass disabling event. I think she got triggered that Maysoon didn't raise disease as a part of the bodily harm. Oh. Oh, sure. But, and, Taylor's communication style is uniquely Taylor. I think she really has a very specific voice that's hers. I do find it to be slightly, a little bit, paranoid, but I don't mean it in that like derogatory way, because it is like a derogatory to say that a woman yelling is like, you know, paranoid. But it's a bit doing too much, but for the right reasons. Like, I obviously think her heart is in the right place, but the road to hell is paved in good intentions. And I just feel like this is that example. Like, I don't think Taylor has bad intentions, but I also think that it's maybe not thought through. Like, maybe she hasn't thought it through. Or if she has thought it through, maybe she's too consumed by thinking it through. Yeah, it's the evangelical in spirit. It's evangelical in spirit. Good job, chat. Yes. Yeah, it's very like, you know, like, the Lord, thy Jesus, thy Christ is coming. It's just like, oof, it's doing too much for me. Now, with that said, it doesn't mean that Taylor's wrong that masking is important. It doesn't mean that Taylor doesn't have a point there. But what point is she making that Maysoon probably wouldn't agree with or make herself? And I love how Maysoon tried to, you see how she tried to bring it down, the heat? Look at this. So Taylor says, where are the masks? Maysoon says, hey, we're talking about sorry, I added in the hey. That's just what I do. We're talking about children who have lost limbs. Where the hell do you think we're going to find masks in Gaza? Like, I adore you, but this is a stupid comment. In many ways, she's standing her ground, but she's also adding in a compliment that says, hey, I adore you. Like, we're good, girl. Don't piss me off. And then Taylor went, poke, 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 poke. And that's the difference. It's like, Maysoon tried, in a way, to me, communicated. But I think, you know, text is hard, tone is hard. But you know what could have avoided all of this? If Taylor didn't write that comment. If Taylor learned to communicate better. I'm just shocked that Taylor felt, well, okay, let me rephrase. Not surprised, but disappointed. You know what I'm saying? Like, a white woman entitlement is very rampant. It's to be expected. Especially when the white woman thinks she's right and everyone else is wrong. Like, they will lock in and zone in on, like, I get it. So though that's not surprising, allow me to express my shock and disgust on behalf of Palestinian children, on behalf of disabled people, because I want you to know that I am shocked from a principled position. I want you to know that I was so verbally shocked yesterday, audibly shocked, that my partner came into my office and was like, hey, are you okay? And I was like, I'm watching this video by Turb, and Taylor Lorenz said the craziest shit, and I just don't know why she would do that. And my partner was like, oh, okay, well, you know Taylor. And I was like, I guess, but because I talk to him about all the YouTube stuff all the time. And I was like, I talked to him about Taylor, and I talked about how, like, Taylor made this crazy video about the 62 million men, and then she came on my video and left a comment, and I think we squashed the beef, but also, like, what is she doing? I think Taylor is on her own train, and I feel like she is driving it very quickly, high speeds, you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like she is knocking everybody off the track in order for her train to keep moving forward. And I would love it if she would just have some humility, you know? I just don't see any humility in Taylor's work. And maybe she feels really stuck because she's in the boy bubble, and maybe she feels really isolated because she's around a bunch of tech bros. But I don't know why everyone else in our community has to get thrown under the bus so Taylor doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is that? Chet said she spoke like she's an authority on the matter. Like, girl, who are you? That's what it is. Like, girlie, what are you doing? You know? Chet said, this is what I've seen from people a lot. They're arguing with their demons and assuming you're the host. Who is saying you're wrong? A whole different ass conversation in her head, for sure. Chet said, I've been exploring CPTSD because the last 4 years, people caring less and less disease transmission and public health and addiction to harassment and gaslighting I've received. Taylor is immune compromised and sensitive. She's got to get out of the debate bubble. Okay, so she is disabled. And does she feel like a disability advocate? I mean, she's disabled or she's an immune compromised. Then she has a personal stake in it and she's advocating on behalf of people, right? But the humility would probably help. And also, like, this is why I say don't do anything because you're afraid or paranoid because you'll make the wrong decision. I understand the frustration. This is why we meditate. I understand. Okay, Chet says she does identify as a disability advocate. Okay. I understand. Right, Chet says, what disability does Taylor have? I just want to point out, guys, that I would hesitate on the asking that question because I noticed I started to get it from people on my other channel. They were like, white women love to say they're disabled. I literally am diagnosed disabled. And so I get the instinct to want to question people's disability. But if Taylor says that she's immune compromised or she says she's disabled, like, I'm just going to believe her the same way I would believe anybody. So not that I'm saying you're wrong for asking the question, but I think, there's like, that's what disabled people get. That's what I get. I get questioned about being disabled all the time. You don't look disabled. You don't sound disabled. And it's like, disability doesn't look like that. So I don't need to question Taylor's diagnosis or Taylor's disability. Like, if Taylor's immune compromised, I believe her. If she's disabled, I believe her. I don't need to know what it is. She doesn't have to tell me her medical records. I'm not asking her for that. So I know chat asked, but I'm not asking. I don't need to know. But I will say this. It's okay that she is so passionate about this topic. It's serious, right? It's so, so, so serious. And what do we do moving forward? So when are we masking? What's the consensus? When are we masking? Every day, all day? Sometimes only when we're in a crowd full of people. What's the goal? I'm serious. Let's problem solve. What are we doing here? You know what I mean? Right? Chad says, I don't question the disability. I'm questioning the advocate part. Just because I'm a woman doesn't mean I'm a feminist. Does that make sense? Yeah, for sure. I think Taylor is kind of known though for disability advocacy because she's always wearing the mask. She's always talking about it. I know she's primarily a tech journalist, but I think that Taylor is kind of infamously, I always kind of associate, well, I don't know if she's a disability advocate the way May Soon is. Yeah. That's the question. Because May Soon is a disability advocate. So why wouldn't her and Taylor pair up and do a collaboration? Why would they start fighting? Why would she fight her? Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. Because you would think if she was an advocate, she would have collabed with May Soon and they could have done something together. But instead, she almost like attacked May Soon. Yeah. So where are the masks? So this is so passive aggressive. So like, where are the masks to stop the spread of airborne diseases, fam? It's like, oh no, instead of, hey, May Soon, love to see you here. Would love to see some representation of masks. Let me know if I can send some over. Would love to get it going. Something like that. But instead it was like, where are the masks, fam? It's like, okay, you know what? You know what I mean? Okay, right? Discord said there is an anxiety to the way Taylor talks in a way that isn't helpful. I definitely see her passion, but it's like coming at the expense of others. I agree with this. Yeah, Discord. Yeah, she has that voice, that type of like, and I'm like, oh, and I get it. I think that's why when I say philosophy is so important to me, it grounds me in knowing that no time is like the other and all times are like the other. There is nothing more interesting or important about the time that you're alive than any other time. Time is running out, do it now. But also time is an illusion, do it whenever. So like it won't matter. We will all be dead in 100 years. Nobody alive today will be alive in 100 years. Okay? Barely. Maybe 110. Okay? Some people be out here living until 110. But generally, everybody alive today will be dead in 100 years. So this idea and this concept that like, oh my God. Again, the humility to recognize your blip in history, the passion to keep going and advocate. But then, it's a balance of both of those things constantly, okay? Let's see. I'm going to scroll up. Did we get a consensus on when we're masking? Anybody answer that question? Chess says she is always very masked up. I kind of expected her to make her own video on masking. Yeah, actually. So I went I went to her page on TikTok. She hasn't posted in a long time. So then I thought, okay, so she hasn't posted about masks. Now, when Taylor left a message on my video, she said that she wrote a comment because she didn't want it to seem like drama by making a video. That's fine. That's valid. So maybe she will make a video on this. So then I went to her Instagram, and this is a pinned comment. So this is the last post, I believe, and it says how to be extremely online and influence people. Journalist Taylor Lorenz talks about her new book, Extremely Online. Okay. So then there's this. Okay. Oh, what is this? Look at this mean comment. You're a clown grifter who lies about their age, who you are clearly over 45. You are a tired mom face. Oh my God, this is so rude. See, that's mean. She's probably, girl, you lost the plot. Okay. Grifting off Palestinians and a diaspora, including those from a disability community, is shameful. For shame. I hope you're held accountable in a real, tangible, quantifiable ways. Okay, girl, what is that? It's kind of like, okay. Trash, and everyone knows it. You're bottom feeding parasite, grifter, moron. You're embarrassing. Oh, girl, she is getting slammed in these comments. Taylor, what the hell were you thinking? You need to apologize at the very least. You said all those horrible things to someone who was a fan of yours. Oh my God. Oh, you revealed yourself. Own it. Nasty piece of trash. You're cruel to the core. Trash. May you reap what you sow. Cunt. Oh my God. Centering yourself in a conversation about a genocide of Palestinians. You're an embarrassment to the basic ethics of being a human. What a bad take. What the fuck is wrong with you, bitch? Oh my God. Okay, y'all. Social media really impacts your mental health because holy fuck. Okay. That is, you know what I mean? Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot. Okay. Chad says she's known for disability and COVID conscious sentiments. Chad said also not just masking. We need to legislate clean indoor air, ventilation, mandatory PTO for sick leave. Absolutely. Chad said a hard line for me is anyone asks me to mask, I will, no questions. I know it's not an ideal goal, but it does feel very reasonable line to have where I'm at right now. Let's see. Right-wing anti-vax people target her. Her numbers aren't good on TikTok. She's apparently shadow banned, so YouTube and IG are her platforms. Chad said we're also seeing the interview, not the precautions that may have been taken behind the scenes that did include masking. Yeah, that's the other thing that, yeah, definitely. Okay. Let's see. She doesn't need to bring her special interest of masking to every person's comments. Yeah, I'm so confused, I guess. Like, I feel like this could have worked out so much better. I wonder, I just can't think of, maybe she was in a bad mental place, but either way, like, it's too late. You did the damage. And this is why I say, like, okay, so what you do now, Taylor, what I would do if I was Taylor, which may I never be. I mean, may I never be, Lord Jesus. Okay. You first send a DM and apologize to Maysoon. Period. Then you delete all those fucking messages and apologize for ever spreading that bullshit on the internet. And you tell Maysoon I'm going to delete them out of respect to you. Okay. Then you make a public post apologizing and saying, I'm obviously, I've engaged something like, hold on. She could say something like, first, I want to apologize to Maysoon and all of the Palestinians who watched me in those comment sections, make it about me and center my ego and self. Then she could say something like, I obviously, arrogantly put myself in a position of or I felt like I was in a position of entitlement to speak my mind in a situation that had nothing to do with me. I will take, she needs to say something. She needs to really know that she's an asshole. And she needs to say, I'm a fucking asshole in a way that's believable because she has to know it and say, like, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. And I need to really sit back and realize that not only was this inappropriate, but it was deeply cruel and unnecessary. And it hurt more than it helped. And I could have done so much better. And I don't know how I could have disappointed myself so much and then disappointed my community. She needs to really fucking sit with herself. Because this was just so unnecessary. And none of us are perfect. We'll all say things we don't mean. Or no, let me rephrase. We'll all do things we mean in the moment. But upon reflection, realize what the fuck was I thinking? So she needs to have the humility to recognize you're being a fucking asshole. It's so unnecessary how mean you're being. And this can't be the end of Taylor Lorenz because, like, can you not be better than this? Like, is it, like, you know what I'm saying? If Taylor can't come back from this for herself, not you guys, not you forgiving Taylor, if Taylor individually can't do the work to introspect and deconstruct this, can she even deconstruct anything? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this feels like a really easier deconstruction moment than something like leaving a whole religion that's connected to your family and friends. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you were an asshole. Go fucking apologize. And then, you know, people are going to be pretty mad at you for a while. So you're going to have to deal with, you know what I'm saying? Chat says she did not help herself, her beliefs, or anyone positively in those comments. Exactly. Right. Yeah, Chet said, like, the Palestinian disabled woman is not her enemy. She could have just asked her if they were cautious about COVID. Yeah, she could have just said, like, hey, just double checking. Like, would love for you guys to explain what took place in terms of preparing for staying safe. If you could share that with the audience, we'd love to know. Something like that. You know what I mean? Chet says she does good work. Let's not throw her away as an audience. I don't know for me. To be honest with you, I'm going to unsubscribe from Taylor. I subscribed back from Taylor when she had her moment with me. And I was like, fine, I'll give Taylor another chance. I'll try. I'm good though. You know, sorry, Taylor. I'm good though. I tried. This is the multiple time with Taylor and me. So for me, 3 strikes and you're out. And so I wish her the best. I will come back in a while when she's worked on it. But for now, like, no, I don't think we need to keep her in the sense. Because, like, where do I put her? So, like, if I was making a coalition or I was building an event with people, where would I put Taylor? Who would I sit next to Taylor? Who would I sit next to Taylor? You know what I mean? If I have Maysoon on the bus and I have Turb on the bus and I have all these great leftists on a bus, who does Taylor sit next to? It's like nobody might want to sit next to her right now. So she, you know, so when she's in a better position, she'll get invited again. Not that I'm doing anything or building anything, like, who the fuck am I? I'm just telling you how I decide these moments, especially as a viewer. We're not obligated to watch these people. And I've already had a moment with Taylor where I was like, let's give Taylor a chance. Maybe I was wrong. Oops. You know, Chet says I mask up every time I step outside, at least an N95 until COVID is gone for real. It's important to mask up. After that, we can surgical masks when we're not feeling well or think was exposed. Is COVID ever going away? Am I wrong to think that it's, like, actually not going away? You know what I mean? I wonder. Let's see. Is it even the audience's business to know what disease COVID prevention they do? Yeah. Because, okay, look. The audience is allowed to ask the creators they support, especially with money and time and effort, do you align with my values? As a creative, as an entertainer, you are only successful because you have an audience. The audience you build and attract, that's up to you. If you want to JK Rowling this shit and get a different kind of audience, you can. So yes, I do think the audience gets to say, hey, before you went out and did this public event, you guys asked me. We have conversations here. That's why I'm transparent with you about masking. If any of you have a problem with the fact that I generally don't mask, to be fair, I generally don't leave the house, then I think you have every right to unsubscribe and not watch me. Do I think you should mask? Yeah, definitely if you want to. Did I go out and make my partner buy me masks? I did. Okay. But we're still debating, okay, when are we going to wear masks? Obviously, I know if I'm in large crowds, if I'm squished into a small space, but like if I'm going to a Croatian cafe and I'm drinking cappuccino, I'm probably not going to be wearing a mask. And obviously, I wouldn't go out when I knew I was sick, okay? And all of those things. But if that bothers you, that's so valid that you would unsubscribe. Because in which way would I feel entitled to you watching me if that is aligned with your values? The same way that I'm pro-choice or pro-LGBTQIA or anything else, like if that doesn't vibe with you, why would you watch me? But I'm open and thinking about, you know what I mean? I'm open and thinking about my own ethical relationship with masking. So I'm thinking about it, you know, like, oh, what does it mean to think about the public and Should I mask and when should I mask and like when is it appropriate to mask? You know, all of those things I'm definitely thinking of thanks to you guys, you know? So yeah, I think it's hard to say, right? But be thoughtful, be cautious, get vaccinated, do all your things, right? Let's see. Any other comments on this or can we move on? What do you think? Chet says white women entitlement is an interesting assessment though. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what's happening, right? Let me see. Any last comments on this? The reality is low-income service workers are told they can't mask. Do they deserve to get COVID? Yeah, no. Obviously, I think you should be able to wear mask at work if you want to, for sure. Yeah. I would definitely want people to have the choice. Oh, actually, wait, before we end this, let me show you exactly a perfect example of this. That was crazy. My bad. Sorry, let me show you this. This was very important in regards to masking. Let me show you this because masking is more than just COVID prevention. It should be your civil right. You should be allowed. You should never be not allowed to cover your face, especially for medical reasons. But look at this video.
To the store. When I go to the store, I wear one of these. This is my accessory, an N95, right? I wear an N95. So tell me why. I was going into 7-Eleven to just grab a couple snacks, and I'm just walking around with my little mask on because I'm immunocompromised and I don't want to spread COVID. I don't want to spread anything to anyone and I don't want to catch anything, right? That is the good thing to do. Wear your fucking mask when you go out to places, right? For the community, especially if you care about the community, you would at least wear it to the grocery store, right? So I go into this 7-Eleven to grab my little snacks and this man is like, you can't wear that in here. You can't wear a N95 in here. You have to take the facial covering off. And I'm confused because I'm like, are you telling me to take off a medical device for my safety and also the safety of the community? And he's like, yeah, you have to take it off. If you want to shop here, you have to take it off. So I made the wise decision of fucking leaving. Because what do you mean that I can't wear a mask, my N95 mask, for the safety of myself and the community in this convenience store? What do you mean I can't wear it? This is an attack on the disabled community. The fact that they're stopping people from wearing N95s in public spaces is an attack on the disabled communities. And I know a lot of you guys don't give a fuck about disabled people, but I do. And I don't want to be told that I cannot wear my mask inside of a public space for whatever fucking reason.
Okay, I'll take it a step further. This is how, because I was really, this is what I do when I'm off stream is I'm thinking about the psychology of people. Now look, and I know, and this applies to all of us. This applies to me and you. So nothing I say is meant to be hurtful. It's meant to be factual. We don't know what we want until we get it. We don't want to do something that we don't understand. And unless it benefits us, we're not going to do it. You say you don't do it because it benefits you, but it does. Because I don't believe in altruism. I don't think you're being good for goodness sake. I think you're doing it because it makes you feel good. So in order for us to be convinced to wear masks, it has to be for the benefit of everybody, not just the disabled community, because disability is misunderstood, frowned upon, and people don't get it. I am disabled, and that is still not fully understood by even my family members, right? Even using that word, it took me a long time to admit that I was like, oh, I'm disabled, aren't I? And that's been a really hard process for me, by the way. Not to mention that we're having a lot of layered conversations at the same time where we're talking about, people aborting their disabled babies and how that might be unethical, and also how being disabled is really hard, so you don't want to get disabled, but also what are you saying about being disabled? And so you're sending a lot of mixed messages to a big crowd of people that are very confused about what they're doing, and they're animals on a planet. So it's like a school of fish you're trying to move in the one direction, or a herd of sheep you're trying to get into a direction, and we're the sheep. It's not a derogatory, it's not meant to be insulting, it's meant to acknowledge that we're animals on a planet. So in order for most disability items to even become mainstream and become cheaper for disabled people, they have to convince everybody else they need them, like ramps on sidewalks, right? Ramps into buildings. So you have to move the conversation, I think, away from masks being for disabled people or the benefit of disabled people. And we need to start thinking about how masking is for you. girlie, you don't want to get sick? Make this about your ego. Like, make this, because at the end of the day, human beings are very egotistical. They don't just do it for the sake of themselves. Now, the reason that I would think about masking, especially in big crowds, is like, I don't want to get sick. If I was sick, I would mask because I don't want to get other people sick. But also, I don't want the shame of getting other people sick. So again, like when we have these conversations, the reason I don't mask when I go out, with the rare that I do, is because I'm not sick in the moment. And also, well, it would definitely be a social faux pas. No one's doing it for sure. But I would mask if I thought it was a good idea. I would. I wouldn't even care about the social stigma. But I would do it because I thought it was the right thing to do. But I don't know that it's the right thing to do for me all the time. But I'll tell you this, it's definitely the right thing to do when it's the right thing to do. So you kind of have to not give people what they think they want, but like give people it in a way that makes sense to them. And this is why people spend hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars on marketing teams to come in and explain it to people. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's one of those things. Because again, like, we're just like little biological creatures on the planet. There's really nothing unique or ingenious about us. There's nothing really like, yes, it's like profound that we exist, but we're just like, you know what I mean? We give ourselves too much credit and we don't give ourselves enough credit at the same time. You know? I think you would have to make them cool and fashionable as well, like trendy, which they did try during COVID. They made cute masks, but those were not even the best, most medical masks. So you kind of have to add that in. Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to get somebody who's really popular to normalize masks. And then it would be like a cultural normalization we'd eventually create. And then it would be more like expected, like they do in other countries. But I think it's possible. I think we can do it. I think we should do it. I think it'd be fine. Yeah, I think it's hard depending on where you live to normalize it. And people don't want to feel stupid. So I think like we forget how much shame and embarrassment plays a role into what we do. I think humans might feel stupid wearing a mask because, it's different for a lot of people. So they feel kind of silly, and then nobody wants to feel silly. So they don't do it. You know, men won't even eat tofu because they don't want to feel stupid. So it's like, okay, how do we get groups of people to do ethical things when they're worried about feeling silly? So I think that's the way that my brain works. And that's where I start problem solving. How do I get people to feel less silly about it? You know? Yeah. Chess says, I hate how it got politicized. Like before COVID, it was actually less contentious to be in public with a mask. That's true too. So then it got political, and then it became like, if you wear a mask, you're one of those people. And that became a problem. So you're right that before I never would have really noticed if somebody was wearing a mask. I was just like, oh, I guess they're sick today. And I wouldn't think about it. But now when I see a mask wearer, I'm like, one of us. I do think like, oh, one of us, which is so funny because it's not like I'm wearing a mask all the time. So it's like, okay, it is kind of funny. Yeah, it is kind of funny. Huh. Yeah, what's the solution here? My friend is autistic and she has sensory issues with her face, and that's why it's difficult for her to keep wearing a mask regularly. She would wear it if told or asked to. Yeah, well, let me just tell you, getting to the point where I could wear a mask was a lot. It was a big deal. I have a trigger around having my face covered because of my assault. It was so bad at some point that even watching people in masks, not COVID masks, like hoods or BDSM masks could trigger me, and to just feeling suffocated and to just feeling like I couldn't breathe. And it took me a long time during lockdown to get to the point where I could wear a mask. It was a lot. And I did feel very attacked when it first happened, and people were like, wear masks, wear masks. And I think there are multi-layers to this. I think a lot of us are artistic. We're traumatized. We have sensory issues. Like, I do think so. And there is a solution to this. It just might take some time for you to figure out how to get there. And that's why we meditate. And that's why there is exposure therapy. And that's why we work on it. Because if you don't work on it, it's never going to get better. And that's why I think that's how I look at it. It's like, okay, exposure therapy. Like, how many times do I have to wear a mask? Can I wear a mask inside? Can I practice wearing a mask in my room? Can I wear a mask for photo shoots? Can I wear, because like I mean, even to this day, I have like everything makes me feel constrained. So like if I'm like dressed up for the day, the moment I don't need to be dressed up anymore, I get out of my clothes right away and I put on sweats, because otherwise I just feel trapped in my clothes. Like when I'm super dressed up and looking super cool and sexy, just know that though I feel amazing, I also feel like I'm suffocating because I can't move freely and I can't do things. So it's like ironic that like sometimes the way we look on the outside just doesn't match the process on the inside, but you can, and you can get through this. You can get to the point where it's comfortable. It just might take some time. So don't lose hope, you know? Don't lose hope. Yeah. Yeah, don't lose. I want you to be optimistic. Like you can do something about it, but you know, take your time and be less bad every day to the best of your ability. So if you're feeling sick, please wear a mask. If you think you might be sick or exposed, wear a mask, get tested. I understand that a lot of us can't call out sick. A lot of us, I've worked sick so many times in my life because if you call out sick, you'll get fired. You won't get paid time off, all of that stuff. I get it. And we have to accept that we live in a world that is so unjust and so fucked up and so imperfect and all of these other things. You know what I mean? It's what a funny little world that's why I'm saying we give ourselves too much credit. Like we went to the moon, but we can't figure out public safety. We went to the moon, but we can't figure out racism. We did all of these great things. And it's like, okay, what are we going to do? Right? Chad says, am I wrong that wearing masks only helps others and doesn't protect you personally? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I've heard this is true, though I kind of feel like it does make me feel like safer. If other people are sick, it makes me feel better that I'm wearing a mask. Like if somebody coughed in my face, I would feel a lot safer if I was wearing a mask. I'm not sure if that's just psychological, but it kind of feels like, wouldn't it less likely get me sick? I don't know. All I know is we have to do the research to figure it out. And N95 masks do protect the wearer. There you go. Yeah. And that's what I was wearing some of the time during lockdown, but that's not what I have here. These are not N95. These are just regular medical masks. So they're not going to do much, you know? Yeah. Chess says it's so wild. People can grasp masks, like cover your cough. I think genuinely people might think of covering your cough as like just for the sake of show. So a lot of what we do is kind of for show. And I think that's how people view that idea. Because you know how people cough into their hand or like sneeze into their hand and they go to shake your hand? It's like, that's why we like cough into our elbow. But it's like one of those things where I do think that people start to get into their mind that it's not doing anything. And because it's not doing anything, it's silly. But you know, I kind of believe in placebos. I kind of also believe that even if you think it's not doing anything, it just might. So, you know what I mean? So if you go around making fun of people who wear masks or thinking in your head that people are stupid for wearing masks, I think you're self-harming. Like if you don't talk to people about it, you just say to yourself like, oh, people who wear masks are so stupid. I think you're self-harming because you're building up a version in your head of a person who takes precaution as someone stupid. Somebody who thinks of others as stupid. And then when you yourself might come to a point of needing a mask, you might deny yourself that access because you think it's stupid. I really do think like what you think about can be a form of self-harm eventually because you're denying yourself the ability to have a different way of viewing this as an option, which is why I always say like, I'm open. If it makes sense, let's do it. Because, you know, what you tell yourself about masks could be life and death in the future, you know? So that's what I would think about. Chad said, I agree. I know people be thinking that's how I wear a mask in public on a random summer day and everyone leaves me the fuck alone. Okay, funny. Actually, I was going to say, you know what masks are good for? People not talking to you. Like if you ever just like want to not talk to anybody, I love a mask. But also that kind of hurts people's feelings because for the extroverts out there, they're probably thinking like, oh my God, but I want to talk to people. I hate the mask. Look, whatever you're going to tell yourself, you're going to tell yourself. So here's my closing remarks for this, okay? Regardless of what you do as an individual, as long as you're not lying to yourself, fine. but you probably are lying to yourself about masks. Whatever reason in your head right now you can't wear a mask, won't wear a mask, or think it's silly wearing masks, it's probably cope, and you're probably too embarrassed to really think about it, because there's no way you've really deconstructed this and you're that worried about wearing masks. With that said, once you get to the point where you're not so much worried about wearing masks, it doesn't mean you have to wear them. It just means if you're defensive about wearing them, there's no way you've done the work, because there's no reason to be defensive about wearing masks. The question is, after we're done being defensive about wearing masks, what is the solution as a community? What is the consensus as a community we're coming to about wearing them? And then what? Okay, what's our goal? Because that's the part of the conversation I want to get to next, which is like, okay, now what are we doing? So we've all decided masks are okay. They're neutral / good. Do we wear masks all the time? Yes or no?